G'day and welcome back for more of my trek across Verdure as I'm here in this valley and still a decent way from Vallis Reach, 99.69 kilometers away. It's going to be a bit of a journey. Hopefully the upgrades that I've been working on for this rover will help me get there, but I do have quite a bit more to do. So I think my first step is to go and mine some more iron because I'm out. It's a real pity that I don't have access to pistons right now, because I would totally go and make a piston-based miner to reach the dirt layer so that I could grab iron that way. Because I reckon that would be substantially quicker than doing this by hand. So I've been looking at this and going, I need to balance my needs of high center of gravity being bad and low ground clearance also being bad. I think the best balance for me right now is to put my cargo containers somewhere like here. Low enough that I've got a 50 centimeter gap between this and the floor height of that door, which I have noticed is another 25 centimeters below what I've got at the cockpit, but I'll put a little ramp in somewhere, or I'll change up the cockpit a little bit once I get to that point. But I think I'm happy with where the door sits now. So if I go 3 not upside down containers, gotta have them labeled the right way around, come on. And I gotta make sure that's in front of the battery so I've got room to put the wall in there. Yep, good. So 3 of those guys. That's going to be fairly rear facing, like fairly rear heavy, but I should be able to get some cargo containers up front, as well as I'm going to be moving all of those batteries. I'm going to be removing all of the stuff that's currently there. So next up we need to fit the smelter in, but I might actually put the assembler in first because it's a bit bigger and I want to make sure that it is definitely piped up and not mucking up any of the other piping that I'm going to do around here. I think probably something like this could work reasonably well. Trying to get one of these large ports up because the survival kit has really awkward piping. I don't need this to be piped. Like, it doesn't really serve any purpose for me right now because I don't have hydrogen, so I can't pipe it from the... I can't get hydrogen into my suit anyway. I don't need oxygen because there's oxygen on this planet. So I'm going to do that, but I need to put one of these guys on first, so there's a gap floor. Otherwise the survival kit will be weirdly embedded in the floor. We'll go that way. Let's have a look. We got gear forge connecting at the back, so I need to bring up a whole large conveyor to this height. Well, 1 block higher than this so that it's not stuck in the floor. But I think this also has a small port on it. It does. Okay, so what we could do instead is this. Let's go put one of these in, that down there, and then hopefully the gear forge should sit on that, like so. That's my gear forge, which I think will be nice. Come in inside, turn to the left, got gear forge, go a little bit further, got the survival kit, and then can also do a similar thing with a smelter. So if I rotate this cargo container around, the smelter could then fit... Oh wait, no, I've rotated that the wrong way. This also needs to be the small port. Leaving this gap to bring these up to floor height. I'll have to fill it in with armor later. There we go. Yeah, smelter, gear forge, survival kit, cargo containers. What else am I actually likely to be able to make production-wise with the stuff that's available to me on the surface here? Am I going to be able to make a refinery? I don't think so. And definitely not a fabricator. But I may at some point want to make an O2H2 generator. How big is that? Oh, tiny. I can make a little one. So that's not an issue. We can fit that in whenever I decide I want it. Alright, cool. This is going to take a bit of resource, but I think the rover will have a much better shape when this is done. Then I got to figure out where I'm going to put all the batteries. Okay, for the assembler, I need the smelter to make me some gold thread. I think I collected some gold before. Wait, no, I don't want the assembler, I want the smelter. There we go. 1 assembler made. Now, survival kit, you need to go and be moved. Let's fill up my charge before I do that. Oh yeah, that's looking better. That makes me much happier. Now, I think this battery is fully charged. Let me go check. Almost. Just a minute left. There was a suggestion of a few things that might have been workarounds for this event controller. Things like... Oh, it's apparently gotten rid of the block anyway? No. Things like making sure the battery's selected, making sure this is selected, making sure all those sorts of things, and then setting the value. Yeah, it still didn't work. It just doesn't keep its value. Similarly, making sure that the value is between 0 and 1. Doesn't work. I think the event controllers are just thoroughly bugged, at least for me. They don't work. So I'm going to scrap the event controller, and I'm going to try a different approach for this, which is going to require a lot more manual input, which is unfortunate, but I'm going to try a timer block. And now that I look at what this requires, I might not be able to build this. Because I need a motherboard and a hard drive. Can the assembler make those? Smelter cannot. This can. Excellent. So how many do I need? I need gold threads for those two. I need 5 hard drives and 1 motherboard. I think it looks like I had enough bits, which is good. So the workaround that was suggested was use a timer block and look at the battery. Oh, this one's full. Let's get it. This one's full. Let's go look at a different example. Put this in cargo. Gonna grab another power cell from one of these batteries. So I pop this in. Have a look at the battery, and the battery says time until full 26 minutes. So then I go to the timer block. And I set it to be 26 minutes. Conveniently, the slider gives me values in seconds, but on the right-hand side, it gives me the minutes. So we'll go 25:44, sure. And then, the actions that it's going to do is it's going to turn all these interior lights to green. In fact, let's make these a group. Like group 1, we're going to set our light color to 0. Then we go to our timer. Drag our group down onto there. Set light color to green. Save. And now, timer block. It's set to 25:44. How much longer left on the battery? Just 25 minutes. Okay, we'll drag that down a little bit. Something like that. Cool. Start. And now, this is actually counting down properly, so in theory, once the timer block reaches 0, it'll change all of these lights to green, telling me that the next battery is charged. And although a more manual solution, it's still better than me checking it constantly. And I say constantly, but really forgetting about it for every 10-15 minutes and finally remember to go check it again. I'm going to continue my pattern of trying to listen to the suit lady, as I'd really like to not die down in a mining hole today. So that's the cobalt done. Where am I? There I am. There's a little bit of daylight left. I've got the cobalt, so I should be able to make those grids that I need. But there is a part of me that's like, how much longer should I stay here? How much more of this rover should I complete down here in this valley where, let's be honest, the sunlight doesn't last very long? Should I try and make some more progress in the hope that if I get closer to Vallis Reach, maybe I'll come across some unknown signals or something like that? Because they don't seem to be happening around here. Because I don't think they're random. I don't know that they're random yet. And if they're not random, that means that they're all going to be around the original spawn area. So that's where I need to go. So looking at what the Gearforge can make, I can make the tier 2 stuff. That's lead bars, turbine blades, which I think is just nickel. Metal grids and lead bars, cobalt and nickel. I just collected cobalt, so that's okay. The tier 3 ones, these require some more advanced stuff. Like, this one's a particular pain point for me. Permanent magnets. Permanent magnets require you to make a refinery. Now, refineries, they require you to get chromium. Because I think chromium's needed for for the chemical synthesizer. And unfortunately, chromium's not available on Verdure, which means playing Rover only, I don't get access to some blocks that require those permanent magnets. That being pistons, hinges, and rotors. Which doesn't seem great to me. Yeah, I'm not on board with that. I don't like that. I don't know. It just... So there's actually a mod on the workshop that changes that required component for those, from needing permanent magnets to needing metal grids. And that means if I add that mod, I'll be able to use hinges, rotors, and pistons. So I'm very tempted to do that because I would really like to have those blocks so that we could make, I don't know, a trailer and have some fun with that and do some more interesting things with the Rover, have it articulate and that sort of stuff. So I'm not sure which way I want to go with that yet. But for now, I do want to go find some lead so that I can make the next tier of these tools. Be nice to go up one tier. Well, well, well. It looks like if I want better tools, I might need to move on. I've had no success finding any lead yet. And I'm a fair way up the valley. I don't want to fly too far from my base to try and hunt this down. So if I don't find it, I reckon it's time for me to unlock myself and get moving. Loads of cobalt here. Oh, a little bit of gold. We should grab that. I'm needing those gold threads. Allow myself to be distracted by this because I haven't been seeing gold all that often. Alrighty, 5,000 gold should be enough for a while. Where's my exit? Man. Sometimes it's really hard to spot the exit. Come on, lead. Show me some lead. Nah. No lead around here. Well, that decides it then. If I don't have lead, I can't make better tools. I would like to move on until I can. So let's see what I can do about batteries quickly, and then let's get on the road. So the assembler can make heavy-duty plate, which means I can make the big batteries now. Where should I put big batteries? I kind of want to put them in the floor. Like what I'm thinking is, if I figure out what my spacing is, I'm going to get rid of these. I'm going to get rid of this one as well. I'm going to get rid of all these batteries actually. So there is very little left of the original Rover now. At this point, I'm not really sure why I started building off the original Rover instead of just building something completely fresh and new, but here we are. The Rover of Theseus. Alright, so what I was thinking was, I grab cubes just so I know where the full size blocks line up. I should be able to grind out this. And then, what I was hoping was, I get the batteries, go to the big one, I can line it up like this. So that gives me access through the floor to the battery components. It's still sitting at the same height as everything else. I put one on each side, but what I'm hoping I can do, where are my doors at, is allow these to be accessible through a door. So I put a door there, and when the door's open, I should be able to reach all four. When the door's closed, it's nice and covered. I'm definitely going to have to change all this flooring in here. I may have to redo the glass of the windows to make it work with this new floor height, but oh well. And I was thinking of doing the same to the other side. Now, I do have some other doors. I wonder if some of these modded doors could work better here. No. No, I think the narrow sliding door is the go. But maybe I'll do it this way. With the idea being that if I want to add more batteries, I could have a double door like that. A nice little double door setup. I think we'll just leave it at one for now. One big battery, and I need to make a whole bunch. Oh, I need lead to make this! Of course I do. Oh. Alright. That's just going to be a projection for a little while then. And until that's possible, let's put in some regular old basic batteries. So currently only got 2 set up. Do something like this as a little battery bank for the moment. I forgot how easy it was to cheese new battery components. New power cells, because you can literally grind one of these down, weld a brand new one up, and replace it. Forgot that. And get magical power from everywhere! I think these batteries should probably need to you actually have to make the power module as a component to build the battery. Like, it could be made from the ores, just like everything else, but I think that's probably needed to make this not feel so weird. Alright, we got a bank of batteries. Got a battery placed that I can't do anything with. Those power modules back. Put those away. Oh, and this light is green now, which means this one should be fully charged. Yep. Cool. So, let's grind this thing down, because we're going to get on the move, because we need lead to do some of the stuff that I want to do. And that seems like as good an excuse as any to get out of here. Now, the sun is going down, which means, sadly, solar power on the rover is going to have to wait, but it is something I want to do. Alright, that's cleared out. Now, I just realized I have not yet put a gyroscope on here. What do I need for the big gyroscope? No, not that big. This big. I fit that in here yet? I get rid of this. I put the gyro in front of this battery. What do you need? Nothing fancy at all. Excellent. Oh, you're getting built. Iron, nickel, and copper wire. There we go. This gyroscope's totally not going to be excessive for this robot. Definitely not. I was hoping to build this up now because I wanted to move some mass to the front, because right now all the mass is right on this spot. I'm also going to go to the assembler and make some of these guys. Because then I can start this and it'll add its mass. And now, make sure my parking brake is on. It is. We can grind all this out. Let this thing drop. No, no, Rover, no, no, no. Up. Grr. You saw me check. The parking brake was indeed on. Oh, man. So let's have a look at how this thing handles. In terms of gyroscope strength, excessive. Gyro is excessive. That's my gyro strength. I am not going to have any issues rolling this thing over just with the... Look, that's just me QE rolling. I think this might be too much. We'll see how it goes. See how it feels once I get moving. It's important when you're using gyro on rovers to make sure target-based gyro is off. Target-based gyro for rovers is terrible. So bad. I mean, I don't like it anyway, so take my opinion with a grain of salt, but when you're talking about... Oh man, okay, I think I'm gonna need some way to turn the gyro on and off. I don't know that I have a way to do that. It's just, it's so much that I don't think my wheels can even turn me without my gyro assisting the turn. Okay, wheels. Need some more stiffness, I think. It's sinking a little bit. Let's crank that up a bit. We need to get up a hill. Okay, yep, this gyro's too much. Gyro is too much. It's too big. It's just so too much. Okay. Can I tone it down? Nope. Alright. Bye, gyro. You're too strong. Too strong for me. Cannot use you just yet. The rover's gonna have to get a lot heavier before I can use that gyroscope. Oh man. Alright, so bunch of little gyroscopes. I will stick them where? Put them in over the wheel bits here, yeah. Nice spot to hide them. I still think I'm gonna need a lot of them, but I don't need that giant one. That giant one is just too much. At least with lots of small ones, I can contain the strength of it by just turning some of them down, by turning some of them off. I reckon there's a decent chance that once this rover's more complete and it's got all of the extra mass from having the extra blocks on it, all the bits that I'm planning on adding, like a roof and things like that, then there's a chance that one of those gyros might be enough. Or might not be too much. So what I've done instead is I've placed 2 of these per wheel. So that's 16 of these. And the rover is a fair bit heavier than it was when I got down to the bottom of this hill, so I'm hoping that'll be not too excessive. Oh, perfect. The door does line up. Very nice. Kind of makes me want to have a door that's specifically for those batteries. Okay, where's Valus Reach? It's that way. I want to get up that side. And we'll see how well the rover can do that. Without too much help. Yeah, gyro feels a little less ridiculous now. Okay, we're gonna have to soften the suspension because not enough wheels are touching the ground. This is not able to even get up that tiny little slope. All right, wheels, crank you. Stiffness down until you sink a little bit more. Just hope you don't bottom out. All right. Let's do some climbing, because otherwise, what I think I've got to do is possibly come up with a blueprint for some sort of bridge slash ramp. Something that I can place down and then design the rover such that it can maybe have some welders at the front and weld the bridge as it crosses it. Because that could be a decent way for me to deal with some of these particularly bad terrain features. Maybe. Now the gyroscope's strong enough for me to do that. So I think the gyroscope should be strong enough, the gyros that I've got on here should be strong enough for me to hopefully position myself in the air the next time I get flung by... Oh, come on. Come on. Get up the hill. No! I'm too long. Can I park here? Yes. I need to go softer still. Get more wheels in contact. There we go. Better contact patch. And now we can get up that. Can we go up this though? Oh. That would be kind of a no. I'm not making it up this hill. Okay. Alright. That's fine. That's fine. So, can't make it up that hill. That is too steep. Are there any spots around here that don't look like a cliff like that? I think the answer is no. I think I'm going to be faced with cliffs like this a lot. So I've been thinking about how to deal with those situations, and honestly, like I said just before, tools, welding some sort of bridge is one option. The other option that I want to consider first are these guys. Adding some drills. See if I put a drill at the correct height that I can do sort of like a terrain clearance in front of me, and I can just tunnel my way up when I need it. Is that just a patch of cobalt on the outside of on the wall there? Yeah, it is. Huh. That's cool. So let's begin with one here and see what height that clears. Now, obviously, ideally, I'll be... can I make compressors? Ideally, I'll be piping this up. But I just want to get an idea of what height it should be set at, because, as mentioned earlier, I don't have access to pistons, rotors, or hinges, so my height has to be fixed relative to the wheel. Can't adjust. So that's going to be terrain clearance mode. Not sure this is going to work. How many drills would I need? Because they need to actually contact the ground before they can do anything. Oh. And it doesn't, like, it's barely dug anything. Go bigger? Can I afford the bigger ones? Yeah, I can afford the bigger ones. They're not anything fancy. So that one definitely doesn't work. 14, oh, it's heavy. See the rover sink down at the front. Okay, big old drill. That's for some reason on. Let's try you out. Okay. This one's a maybe. This is a definite maybe. It needs to go further forward of the rover and it needs to get in front of the wheels, but that's actually cleared out a moderate amount of terrain. If I have a row of these in the front, maybe I can make myself a bit of a scooped out ramp whenever I run into these bits, and maybe it'll work. I think it's worth giving a shot. One of the reasons I kind of like the idea of having these drills is they could do double duty for resource collection too. Something like that might work. For the moment, I'm hoping I can skim the surface and not actually tunnel. Because if I have to tunnel, then I have to build a lot more drills because I need the height clearance for the rover as well. But I'm hoping I can just sort of skim out a bit of a track to make it possible to get to the top of something like this. And it is also getting dark, so I'm going to need to get some lights on. This rover, because it doesn't have any right now. If these drills don't work, there is another option. I could try and get some more wheels on the inside of the rover so that I get a bit more traction, even though I'll be using smaller wheels to do it. I'm far enough down this road, though, that I'm going to continue this and see how terribly it goes. The way that the front end lowers down when I build a single drill makes me really worried about how 4 drills is going to go. I need more nickel to get any of these bits built. At the rate the resource collection is going to go, I'm probably going to end up... Oh wait, could I get the... I wonder if I could get the drills at the front. I wonder if I can actually get them to collect enough nickel to be worthwhile. Like, once I've got, like, 2 of them, maybe they can? Just ramming into that wall? Save me having to do this? But... Anyway. I do wonder if I'm going to end up collecting so much resources to make these drills that by the time they're done, it's going to be daylight again. Probably not, but probably not far off. One of the things I wish they'd change with the welding up of blocks in SE2 is to reintroduce what SE does, where, because I've got steel plate in my hands, I should be able to weld this and leave the steel plate in the block for those steel plate that can't yet be welded. Because having that not be possible means you have more trips back and forth to inventory to try and fix those missing bits and get those missing bits when you don't have them. Be a nice little smoothing thing. And I think I'm out of copper. Yep. Alright, I know there was copper in this valley somewhere. But where was it? Oh, I need to get power before I do this. There we go, all the drills are built. Let's get some lights and then see how this goes. I can't see anything right now. Because of course, I spent all the daylight building and then all the nighttime driving. Because that's the sensible way to do things, right? That's... yeah? Idiot I am. Need some temporary spotlights up here, I think. Yeah, that's not bad. Can see in front of me. Alright, let's get some lights around the outside as well. So I can see a bit more. Cool, and now that we can see around the rover, let's see how terribly these drills perform at my desired job, which is to try and give me some sort of path to go up this hill. Okay, we're sinking down at the front, so let's fix the front suspension up. Make it stiffen it up a little bit, so that we don't sink down. Let's give this a go. Well, this is sort of working. This is a prime example of where the new have to double tap thing with driving becomes an issue. I am also very clearly at a tunneling height, not at a just scrape the surface height. Looking at that, so I'm going to need more drills. I think with the starting angle, like if the starting angle that I go with is steep enough, maybe I can make this work. So let's try not drilling this bit, but coming around to somewhere else. Let's get our wheels again and soften them a little bit, because I think they're a bit too stiff. Bring it down to point. Oh, no, 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 no. Okay. Well, that didn't work. That was another prime example of where the not having just a regular old press this key to stop the wheels button kind of sucks, because I was moving forward then back, then forward then back, then forward then back, and I couldn't easily tell which one I was doing at any particular time. So trying to counteract the movement of the rover was much more difficult than it might have needed to be. Oh dear. Come on. Don't roll over, don't roll over, don't roll over, don't roll over. No, 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 no. Okay. Well, that didn't work. No, 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 we're upside down. Of course. I'm still sliding down the hill. Time to rebuild the giant gyro. And possibly wait till morning before attempting another pass up this hill. Because I could not see enough then. Oh. Alright, giant gyro, here we come. Here we go. Alright. Can I do this delicately enough not to smash something? And over we go. Yeah! I might leave that gyro on here. Turn it off. Turn it off, but leave it on here. Yeah, I can't see anything. Wow. It's really bad visibility. Okay, so since I'm stuck here, and I'm pretty sure I'm deeper than I was when I began this, I'm just trying to think what I can do through the night while I wait. I think I will go and try and mine some iron and just get some general materials, and then we'll come back to this when it's daytime. Now there is of course a downside to me collecting a whole bunch of resources while I'm in the bottom of the hole. I am making the rover heavier, which potentially makes it harder to get out of here. But hopefully the drills work, and if the drills don't work, then we'll go to some smaller inner wheels and see if that's enough to give me enough traction to get up these steeper slopes. I've got a few other options. So I will eventually get out of this hole. I just can't see myself getting out of this hole in the dark. I can't see enough. One of the things I need to do is find which of these wheels are the front pair. So what I want to do is grab right one and left one and put their stiffness quite high so that the drills sit at the correct height, so they don't sink down as the drills get heavy. Then the rest of these wheels can drop their stiffness way down to try and keep the contact patch high once we get going. But that's still not happening yet, although the light, I think the sky's getting lighter, so I think it's hopefully not too much further until daylight. Now let's grab some, I think silicon is what I need most. Look at the amount I've got. Silicon 3,000, gold 5,000, cobalt 5,000, 12,000, iron. I actually don't really need a lot of anything right now. Could do with some lead, but not gonna get that. Apparently. I should have picked it up when I had the chance. Okay, I think this is probably enough visibility for me to try this out again and see if I can actually make it up out of this hole that I'm in, because I definitely made my situation worse. This was the exact hole I didn't want to go into when I came down this hill. Alright. Let's see. Can I get up this way? The drills scrape, that's fine. My idea was... Oh, that bit's a bit too steep. So that bit's too steep, so we start drilling at this angle. Hopefully, if it lets us drive at this angle, we can just sort of scrape the surface and get enough contact patch. Maybe. Maybe not. Maybe I need to be on a bit of a flatter surface to try that again. Maybe that's... Oh, no, that's not the place to do. Over here is. That little plateau that I hit there is part of the problem. Nope. Oh no, don't wedge myself on my drills. That's not good. Let's not do that. Okay, over this side, looks like there's a bit of a slope at the bottom, and then I hit the cliff part. Which is kind of perfect. I want the slope to get me the angle I need. I go nice and straight on. Let's come around. So this is the test. I can drive up this steep, but once I reach this part, I should do better with the drills clearing a bit of the terrain in front of me. This is one of those ideas that I think would work in Space Engineers, but I'm not sure works here. And the reason that it doesn't work here is that in Space Engineers, the drills don't have to contact the ground in order to clear out terrain. But in SE2, they do. So normal, like in Space engineers, I'd be clearing terrain right now, but because these aren't contacting, they're not actually doing any drilling. And that means I can't get up here. So I think, even in this fairly ideal circumstance, this isn't going to work. So let's lose these drills, and I'm going to try and get some more wheels under here. Now, to get the wheels under, what am I going to need to do? I need to kind of do something like that and have myself tilted. We'll get the back ones done, and then we'll see if we can get some forward ones. This bit that's up in the air. I mean, if this works, it could actually support the argument that maybe more smaller wheels is better, because I get more contact. So I should have gone with just a bed of this size wheels instead of the big ones on the outside. So there's a part of me that kind of likes the jankiness of having small and large wheels. Looking at this though, I probably should have put a gap between them. I probably should have pushed these a bit more central. Let's try that. Just because these are currently sitting directly on the other suspension, and I think it might look nicer if they're not. Okay, how's that look? Those are the ones that I could get on. Now, can I tilt this back so I can get some of the front ones on? Looks so weird. I don't want to can't tell if I've got it around the right way. So we go down one, and then it'll be across two, and that doesn't fit. Ah! And it won't let me place the opposite one either. No! Okay, I don't have enough clearance. Alright, let's lose these drills. That'll lift up the front. At least this bar at the front for the drills, it can be my new bull bar. I mean tree bar. So it's stretching out past the wheels, so it'll hit the trees first. We'll see if that ends up being more or less stable. It'll need to get some serious style in the future. But for the moment, it kind of works. Oh, wait! I'm going about this all wrong with the building of these wheels. I forgot a little feature that I built into this Rover. Hang on a second. Let's pop those away. Hop in. Grab the gyro. Turn it on. And over we go. Trying not to do it. Trying to do this gently. Let me do this gently. There. Oh. Touch the ground. Nice and gentle. Nice and gentle. Nice and gentle. That's the way. There we go. Cool. Now I can place all the wheels. I am not keeping that gyroscope. That feels way too much like cheating doing that. I don't like it. I'm gonna have to lose it at some point. I'm sort of tempted to stop the wheels there. Although, does it kind of work to have them? Oh wait, these ones could go a bit higher. These middle ones at the front, yeah. Could do something like that. Yeah, I think that looks tidy enough. Let's get these missing ones done. Remembering to use symmetry mode is nice. So that's an extra 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 8. It's 16 wheels that should be in contact and 18 wheels that can be. That's gonna be interesting balancing the strength of each of these. I'm slowly learning how much is needed for each of these blocks, and I kind of overbuilt for these wheels. They're actually quite cheap. Okay, last flip using the super powerful gyro. Ugh. So they need to have not much stiffness at all. These need to just barely touch the ground, but full power. Big wheels probably lose a bit of stiffness as well. So I don't need those front ones being stiff anymore now that I've gotten rid of the drills. All right. Let's see how she goes like this. It looks kind of cool. How do I go getting up a hill? Getting up a sheer cliff face, really? Not substantially better. Oh, don't tell me I'm like power limited by the batteries or something. I don't seem to be power limited. 21% draw. I've got the suspensions really soft, but there's still not enough of them contacting the ground at any one point in time. Now I'm assuming, and I think rightly so, that just like in Space Engineers 2 has the wheels not actually able to collide with their parent grid. So you can look carefully at one of the small ones in the middle, and you'll see that when I go backwards here, it actually collides with the assembler above it and goes straight through it, no troubles. It keeps spinning. I gotta figure out why this isn't working. This should have heaps more oomph. We've got acceleration set to 10. We've got acceleration set to 10. The stiffness is really soft so that they can all... so that more of them can touch the ground at any one point in time, but... I've just got nothing. There is no speed to these things. I am, of course, assuming that the automated direction of these wheels is correct. And that it's not coming up with some weird thing that's making them go backwards. And it does seem to be doing the right thing. Maybe we can use this as a half pipe? No. I mean, this future lake bed is rough. It is not a good driving surface. And the length of this wheel is starting... the wheelbase and the length of this vehicle is starting to become a problem for that. Because I keep bridging over things. I keep getting to that point where I've got the nose and the rear in contact, but nothing in the middle. Stronger isn't likely to help. Like, more suspension strength isn't likely to help. I wonder if I'm just simply too heavy. But I just added so many wheels. How is this many wheels not helping? Look at all the wheels. They're all touching the ground. No dice. This doesn't work. Am I stuck in this hole? How am I going to get out? I feel really stuck. I think I'm going to have to build a ramp. I literally just can't drive out of here. Alright, so which direction is best to build a ramp then? Since apparently that's the path we're going to be heading down, is building our way out of all of these terrible situations. I want to get up that side. So I think probably building some sort of bridge from here. We'll go with floor pieces, I think this. So I'll be lining something up at least at this level, but we probably need to go all the way to the top because I've dug a hole in there. But I guess we see if we can get from here. Yeah, let's line this up and see if I've got the width right. And then see if I can figure out a way to get this thing to weld up its own ramp. And if this doesn't work, I'm gonna have to start making the Rover lighter. Can I make welders that are going to be able to weld up this ramp instead of me having to hand weld it? I don't know what the range is on these welders, but I'm hoping it's far enough that I don't have to get these too close to the ground. Alright, practice run with just the outer ones. See how far we can get. Embark. Crunch. Wait, why is the one on this side not welding up? Why is the one on the left-hand side not welding up? Come on. Could be like that. Oh. Maybe I need to start it by hand. No connection points detected. Huh. See if I can do this without having to manually weld up the whole ramp myself. Which is honestly going to be cheaper if I do it all by hand, because I can just put one steel plate in each. And the automated welders are going to put more in. But thought I'd see if I could make it a bit quicker of a process. And the cool thing, if I do manage to make this into something that I can get the Rover to do, is I could actually make this an interestingly designed bridge. Not just something that's slapping down the cheapest thing I can possibly put down. Let's line ourselves up. Hear the delightful nails on chalkboard. And we're stuck. It's too steep. Okay, so since it's too steep to start on, I think I'll try and see if I can make a little bit of a curve onto it with these guys. Maybe it'll work. I'm actually not sure if this is even enough, because this looks like it's pretty flat. And, I don't know what else I can... The only other option is to make a whole separate grid to try and make this work. Is that enough of a smoothing to allow me to get up this? At least get onto it? Nah. I think the welders are just too low. Yeah. Alright, the welders are not working in that position. Let's clear them out and see if I can even get up this, having manually welded it. I just gotta get myself out of this hole. I'm sick of being in this hole. This is a perfect example of where a hinge or a rotor would be super handy, because I could flip the welders out of the way and then bring them back to the height that they precisely need to be. Oh no, at the rate I'm going, I'm gonna be back. I'm gonna finally get back up here just as it gets dark again. That's how long this has taken to try and Now, obviously, if I was being safety conscious, I would not just make this as two tiny little separated ramps. But that would cost a lot more time and a lot more resources. So I'm trying to do this cheaply or efficiently. And that means separated ramps like this. Let's see how it goes. Okay, we have physical ramp the whole way. Let's lose these welders that are blocking me from going forward because they're just a bit too low. And we get onto the ramp to begin with. Yay! Sort of. Kinda, maybe. Alright, what's going on here? My rear wheels are touching the ground, and my middle wheels are not. I need softer. Sounds delightful. Okay, here we go. We're on the ramp. Oh, come on, wheels! Seriously? I can't go up this ramp? You're kidding me. That didn't even feel that steep. I'll park on it and then stand on it and see if it feels steeper when I'm standing. Oh, can make it up that far. Okay, how steep is this? I mean, sure. That's decently steep, yeah. But oh man, this Rover just does not have any power. I don't know what I'm gonna do to get up and down these slopes. Who'd have thought restricting thrusters was a terrible idea? It was a good idea in Space Engineers 1. What to do? I think I've got to build some more ramps so that the little wheels can contact. See if that helps enough. We'll go that far and see if that actually allows me to get acceleration when on that steeper slope. Because it is steep, it's 45, 50 degrees. But still, I've had... Okay, yeah, that feels better. Can I get going? Sort of. So those middle wheels are helping. They're not helping as much as I had hoped they would, but they are helping. I do wonder how much difference there is in the actual torque output of these wheels. Like whether the small ones just really are terrible compared to the big ones, or whether the big ones are terrible compared to the small ones. Which would be an unfortunate thing to continue as a problem from the original game. As in Space Engineers, you do have this weirdness of the bigger the wheel, the less... The bigger wheels have the same amount of torque, but because they're bigger, that effectively means less power at the ground. Nice little added bonus of building this bridge. I'm putting all of this mass into the bridge out of my truck, so it should get a bit more ability to move every time I take any of this mass out of it. I'm curious what other differences there are between the big wheels and the small wheels, like torque, top speed, all that sort of stuff. Are there more differences that could explain some of the challenges I've got here? And whether there are setups that would work better for trying to optimize my power? Like, would I be better off having all of these be small wheels? Just trying to get the left-hand wheels onto the bridge too. I think the right ones are, but the left ones aren't. Getting some speed. It sounds delightful. But here we go. Now we're getting speed. Now obviously I have to have the horrible obtrusive HUD up to get speed. I wish when you hit this, the speedo would go down to the bottom left. But that's the way it is. Okay, we have made it back to where I was at something like an hour ago. But I'm here. Okay, now I need a new ramp to get out of here. So let's collect the bits and make a new one. I'm totally... Oh no. No, let's get out of this hole because it's possible I'll slide back down into that between now and when I get... Yeah, let's not remove that until I am sure that I don't need it anymore. Alrighty, can I get up this bit? And then Do I feel safe to go and collect the other bits, or am I worried that I'll end up back in the hole? Let's see if we can even get onto this ramp to begin with. Yes, I can. Good. And can I get off it? Yeah. Come on! No, that's not good. Oh, no. No, bad, wrong. No, don't do that. You park there. Okay, too much hill at the top. Let's see if we can, improve that a little bit with the hand drill. Arguably, this is when those drills mounted on the front could have been helpful. I think this is a particularly bad bit of terrain. I know that Verdure is pretty awful for rovers all around, but this is especially bad. This is a really deep ditch. This was a ditch that I was trying to avoid when I came down here in the first place, because I could tell how bad it looked, and then ended up falling in it in the dark anyway. So I was expecting this to be particularly difficult. I'm hopeful that we'll get some actual distance made once I get to the top and feel like I get some progress with these extra wheels providing enough power to actually move forward, but I am a little worried that's not going to be the case. I'm a little worried that I've not done enough, and that I need to figure out a way to get even more wheels on the ground to push me forward, given how heavy this rover's getting. Whether that means going wider, or whether that means going more small wheels, replace the big wheels and just go all smalls, I don't know. Maybe even trying to squeeze even more small wheels into the middle. My worry is the more wheels I add, the weirder my steering will get, and the harder it'll be to actually turn while maintaining any degree of power, because the steering is set up automatically and I don't get to control it. Uh-oh, fell through the well again. Right. That was F8 to go into spectator, and then control space to teleport myself back. And then we turn off creative mode again. And it's like nothing ever happened. I hope that Keen do change it so the grid drills can drill a volume regardless of whether they're actually contacting the ground. I know it looks a bit strange, but from a gameplay perspective, if we can't drill precisely if we can't drill just a sphere wherever the drill happens to be, it's going to be impossible to ever drill a road with a grid drill. It's just not going to be feasible. So I hope that Keen changed that behavior, because it makes sense, but it also doesn't work. It's hard enough to drill road surfaces when you can have just a sphere and you know exactly where it's going to remove and it's going to be perfect, but not knowing where it's going to remove stuff because you have to make sure that the drills touch the ground, oh, that's going to be impossible. And unless it actually is doing that, it was just behaving really slowly, but from what I could see, it was only drilling when I actually impacted the voxel with the block. As soon as I connected it, it then tried to drill, but it needs to drill even when it's not, I think, for us to have any hope of being able to engineer paths and things like that for ourselves. It's not so bad with the hand drill because it's a much smaller volume, but with the grid drills, it's an issue. I can see it sort of working where you have to contact the voxel if our drills could drill voxels constantly and it wasn't done in these big chunks where you go this and then it goes. But if instead it was a perfectly smooth thing, kind of like voxel hands works, if it was perfectly smooth, then it might work, but with the chunking behavior, nah. I'm almost getting to the point where I should just build the rest of the ramp. In fact, I might put some more of it down, because I think I've dug out enough that I can get some meaningful surface out of it. Come on, Rover. Please make it up here. Please let me get some progress. Come on, speed! Give me speed! More speed! I need more speed! Come on. Come on. Come on. You've done it. You've done it. It's there. Okay. Finally. All right. Which direction do I actually need to go? Okay. If I can get into that seabed. Oh man, I've got to try and get over. I probably don't want to lose altitude like I was doing. I probably want to try and keep myself up. Now that I'm on smoother terrain, can my wheels do what I need them to do? Does it feel like I've got a bit more power? Kinda? Like maybe I'll be able to make it up some of these slopes around here? Clear out some trees, give myself some room. Bam, bam, bam. Oh, actually that's much steeper than it looked. But I can sort of almost, I can make it up there. Okay. So I think that terrain down in that hole was just really, really bad. Like this rover can actually do stuff out here. Now that I'm on not bottom of future lake. There's a part of me that wants to go back and grind down those ramps, but there's another part of me that says no. If you're gonna build a bridge, that's gotta stay. If you're gonna build a ramp, it's gotta stay. That's a cost. I gotta pay that cost so that I try and come up with less expensive ways to get upwards progress. Yeah, I really feel the difference now that I'm up on this terrain. These wheels feel like they are actually making it possible to do things that I wasn't able to do before. Something that down in that down in that lake bed was just bad. It was rough. It was steep. I wonder if the lake bed surface is also lower friction. I wonder if Keen have implemented different frictions for different surfaces and they kind of went, well, this is going to be underwater, it shouldn't have much friction. Let's not put much on it. Oh, that's the first time a tree's given me any kickback. I'm just not able to launch this thing into the air. Now let's get to the other side of this little bit of snowy terrain, because I want to look down into that lake and kind of get an idea of whether I could go down there to drive or whether I should stay at altitude as much as I can. I'm leaning towards stay at altitude. Whoa! Uh-oh. Did I lose anything? I did. I lost some wheels. Okay. Good reminder to not put anything of value at the front of the Rover. I mean, I know I'm at the front of the Rover, but that's not a thing of value. Who cares about a clone? Oh, and that front right wheel has been damaged. We'll park here for a second. Let's have a look where we are. So, we've got this future lake in front of us that looks like it would be all kinds of horrible to cross. That is terrain I want to avoid. My worry is, behind this little bit of terrain here is another river that I would have to cross, and then I'm going to have to bridge it. And so whether I should instead be trying to go all the way around this way, following over to try and get a bit closer to Valor Station. I've made a little bit of progress today. The rover's gotten bigger, and I've actually gotten closer to the destination. Not much closer, but closer. I'll be back with some more of this very soon, and hopefully I'll be able to make some good progress. And I will see you then.